Hey, we're live.
Oh, yay.
We did it.
We did not decide what we are going to talk about next week.
Hmm.
Does anyone know if any of the movies that were suggested to us via the RRR podcast that we did uh, are available?
Uh, I haven't found them on. There's a particular streaming service that just does te- Telugu
Telugu?
Telugu movies, right? That has the Telugu version of RRR and those other two movies.
Oh, okay.
I think one of those other two movies might be on Netflix, and it's
There were
Bali dub.
far more than just a few.
I know there was
We,
the two-parter that was from the same director.
You need to watch
yeah,
that
Balu
one.
Bali.
That's the one.
Yes. It's very good.
Hmm.
It is
Wow.
a two-parter.
I haven't
And yet
looked at this in a
shorter
while.
than RRR to watch those two parts of the other movie.
It's shorter to watch both parts.
It might be. Hold on.
Isn't it something ridiculous though? Like it's Bahubali 1 and then Bahubali the end.
The conclusion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there it is.
The
Conclusion.
conclusion
Oh yeah,
part.
Bahubali, the beginning, and Bahubali, the conclusion.
Listen, it tells you what it is.
It's a great bit of movie. Y'all should check that one out.
There, the beginning is 2 hours and 39 minutes.
It didn't feel like that.
Neither did RRR.
No, it did not feel like 3 hours either. So, I'm fully on board with that.
I've had people ask me on many separate occasions, why are you rewatching RRR? And I'm like, I'm not. I haven't finished watching it from the last time you asked me.
I mean, it used to be. Well, I mean, at first it was
Kung
the
Fury.
10-hour cut. Well, first it was the 10-hour cut of the Hobbits are going to Isengard. Then it was Kung Fury. But if you just need something on in the background, RRR is great for it.
Perfect.
It doesn't loop nearly as often as either of those two.
Mm-mm. But it is important to note that they're taking the hobbits to Isengard.
Guard.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
What? Is that for real?
Can't see your screen, Tony.
I'm not. I use holy shit. Bahubali the beginning is on Netflix.
Yeah.
I don't think, is it in Telugu though?
No.
I don't know if you care, but
The
I mean, I'm
Tamil
gonna watch
version.
it. I'm gonna watch it subtitled regardless.
right.
And I assume the
audio,
subtitles are in English.
The audio is in Tamil. Is in the original Tamil.
Oh, so that's not a Tollywood production.
And this is on. Wait, it's the beginning?
Bahubali the beginning Tamil version is on Netflix. It is 2 hours and 39 minutes and 27 seconds, according to the Netflix screen that I'm looking at right now. Like, disclaimer. I'm looking at the disclaimer scene, right? The disclaimer screen right now.
Oh,
So,
and,
Bahubali the beginning is what we're going to talk about next week.
cool. And
Oh, shit.
Wikipedia says that it was filmed in both Telugu and Tamil languages simultaneously.
Oh, well, there you go. So, this is
Well.
one of the two versions of it then.
I think I found it on YouTube in Telugu when I watched it.
What's the difference? Not that I can speak or understand either one. Is it just different languages or?
Yeah. Well, and the people that I was watching it with spoke Telugu, so they wanted to watch that version.
Oh, well, I mean, that makes
makes
sense. Sure. I mean, if a movie's going to be dubbed into English, I'm probably going to watch it dubbed. I'm just that basic. I mean, if this movie was dubbed, I would have watched it. I would have watched it in English.
It says that Telugu is a South Central Dravidian language, while Tamil is a Southern Dravidian language.
I work in IT, so I work with a number of Indian people, just because that's just how my industry works.
Mhm.
And all my coworkers were ridiculously excited when I told them I watched RRR.
Nice.
Like
Nice.
one guy's like, I paid $50 to go to the opening night premiere at the IMAX, and I was like, oh my god, it was worth every penny.
I would 1,000% see that in IMAX.
Yeah, that would have been great.
It would have been, yeah, it would have been amazing.
Oh my gosh.
So I finally got Holden to watch it, and I just get a text from him a couple weeks ago on like a random Saturday afternoon. RRR, Forbidden Bromance.
Amazing.
It's like,
Hmm.
you are not incorrect.
But will this forbidden bromance end in bloodshed?
Oh, only time can tell.
No, the answer is yes.
Yes.
My favorite
Yeah.
is when they walk along the train tracks in the fog. I want to do that with somebody. And then they like run along the train and it's like super funny, great times. And I was like, why do I never get to run along train tracks with people?
And like
Well-
the steam of the train like overtakes them.
Yeah, so
The-
hot.
I want to be honest with you, the Butthole Surfers did warn you about that.
Mm-hmm.
I should have listened.
I don't mind the sun sometimes.
All right, let's get this show
Yeah,
started.
what movie are we talking about again?
Hey, this is Tony.
Hey, this is Mitch.
Libby, go next.
Hey, this is Libby.
And this is David.
We are the Backseat Producers. And tonight we are talking about 3,000 Years of Longing.
It's a lot of longing.
It's
It's a lot of longing.
It felt like a lot of longing.
You
This
know,
movie felt longer than RRR.
Ah!
well,
I do
I thought
agree.
the title was bullshit, but then it
Mhm.
turns out it wasn't.
Mhm.
Nope.
There was indeed a lot of longing.
3,000 years worth.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Libby, you're new. What's your high level review of this movie?
I really enjoyed this movie, but I did have some issues. Also, my dog is here to drop loud things on the floor. It's good timing.
That's all right. Romeo will yell at us later.
Perfect. So I enjoyed a lot of pieces of it. One of the things that I was thinking about is I did not feel like the two leads had a lot of sexy chemistry, and I feel like if they did, I would have enjoyed this movie more. I thought they had good like emotional chemistry, but definitely I wasn't like, oh, these two are about to get down to it. But I don't know that Tilda Swinton does a lot of sexy chemistry with co-stars. I haven't seen her in a lot of things where she does. Maybe one with Tom Hiddleston in Only Lovers Left Alive, but anything else I haven't seen her be very sexy.
Mitch, what'd you think?
I quite enjoyed this movie for its weirdness and its what I thought was a like interesting take on love and desire and the differences between the two. And Tilda Swinton's sexy chemistry works on me. So
Works
does Idris
on you.
Elba's. Yeah. I don't know if it
feels
worked
like-
on Idris Elba.
They work
Right.
separately on you.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's right.
Mhm.
Individually,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, either of you works for me.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
David. Oh, I gotcha.
Oh,
Got him.
Okay, so I didn't dislike this movie, but I think we've had a run of movies that were very good for a while, and then this movie is like just fine. There was something unbelievable about this movie, and it wasn't the fantasy or magic elements.
Was it a woman with a PhD? Because that's common now, David.
I didn't believe that her neighbors were really racist.
I didn't believe the racism. Of
That
her
generation is not racist.
great point.
They created racism. They are old enough to have created it. And maybe I'm being ageist, but you know.
Is it like a rock paper scissors situation where like ageism trumps racism, trumps ableism? Is like a whole
Ooh.
diagram?
Oh boy, there's no one wins at the oppression Olympics.
Nope.
Yeah, I'm not even going down that particular rabbit hole.
Gross.
I liked the movie. I liked the movie a lot.
Typical Tony Mast.
I did. It even though it told me, I did get a fairy tale vibe in so much as like a Stardust,
Ooh.
Oh.
like a neo fairy tale
Mm,
vibe to it.
Mhm.
sure.
Who
That's
would
like that.
you have picked to be the Robert De Niro of this then?
Oh,
Bearing in mind, Robert De Niro looks a lot like my dad, so all of the pirate scenes were very awkward.
yeah.
Hey,
Like I'm not sure what you mean by that, because that character also wasn't in any of the other iterations of the story.
Well, they were worse then.
Different.
I started reading the book, but
Me too.
Neil Gaiman and I,
Oh, I think he's talking about Stardust.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Stardust, yeah. No,
This-
Neil Gaiman and I are like, we're okay, but
Oh, Neil Gaiman and I are bros.
Stardust is one of the only examples that I give when people are like, "Are movies ever better than the book?" Because to be honest, I think that movie rocks harder than the book.
Have you ever read Forrest Gump?
No.
That book is terrible.
Have you ever read Jaws? It's a nightmare.
Yeah,
Oh God, it's so bad.
and it
'Cause
just ends.
yeah,
Like it doesn't come to an ending. It just stops.
it's just done.
Yeah, the first time I read it, I read like a used bookstore paperback copy of it, and like legit thought that there were pages missing. Like it just felt like there was somebody tore the last 5 pages out of the book, because it was just like it just ends. It's like
Yeah.
what happened here?
I like that there's entire chapters where Chief Brody just thinks about how much he hates his wife. There's like whole chapters where he's just like cooking breakfast and it's like, my wife is such a bitch. And I was like, can I get the shark back? Because this is not working. Jeez. Did you, Mitch, did you say you're reading the story that this movie was based on?
Yeah, the Jin in the Nightingale's Eye.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's substantially different.
Okay.
Like
How old
the
is the story?
90s.
Okay.
90s.
The Tilda Swinton character has children. Like is
Ooh,
a sizable difference. Like right out the gate.
no thanks.
Yeah, I think there's only been one movie in like the last year where children actually added something to it, and it was that space movie, the Korean space movie we watched.
Oh yeah, Space Sweepers.
Space
Yeah.
Sweepers was good.
Mhm.
That was a good movie.
Yeah, because the kid was pretty good in that.
One of the things that I loved about this movie was them modeling that Tilda Swinton's character was like totally fine being alone. It did not like phase her that she wasn't married. It didn't phase her that she didn't have kids. It was like absolutely fine. So I'm glad that they made that choice.
Oh, was she fine, Livy?
I think
I
she was
think-
fine.
The model was she represented herself as fine.
Well, but okay.
She had to create a whole fantasy lover to feel okay about it.
She didn't
Which-
create him,
Yeah,
allegedly.
I disagree with your assessment of this, Mitch.
Okay.
As the only one in this with a uterus, I disagree with yours. I'm pulling it out.
The uterus?
Please keep it in.
Okay,
We just got ladies playing to boys.
Woo.
boom. I don't know. I felt like it was interesting that was the reason her marriage fell apart. Ostensibly that and like infidelity. But I did like that her plot line wasn't completely revolving around what seemed to be like maybe a miscarriage or something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
She just wanted to read some goddamn books.
Yeah, I'm just gonna trail onto that like she was also cool with traveling alone, staying in a hotel alone. Like there was it never felt like it was awkward for her. Like it's just the way things are.
You never felt that it was awkward to have a 10-foot tall Idris Elba in your room?
I'd be thrilled.
10-foot tall would make me ask some questions.
That was a weird choice to have him not fit in the room for a while. I was like, it's
For
weird.
most of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh.
Because like they don't make him proportional to her until like way late. And I was trying to decide if that was like a design, like an intentional aesthetic. I mean, it has to be intentional because they, digitally made him larger.
Sure.
But like, I couldn't see a point to it.
I
It
mean,
just seemed like a lot of effort for a point they were making that didn't land.
for a hot minute, he took up like 3/4 of the suite.
Sure.
Like, literally.
Mm-hmm.
It was like my nightmare. It's just a giant foot.
You can't contain Idris. No.
Remember
Driss
when
is
he
all
got
in
COVID?
company.
Had to wear like sackcloth and ash for a week just to be in mourning. This world needs his beauty. Please don't take him.
One thing in this movie that I have talked to a lot of humans about because I was so curious was the use of nudity, and especially nudity with like fat bodies, and how they it is the only movie that I've seen in a theater. I mean, I've seen other movies with women that are naked and have fat bodies, and like in the theater, I thought this was really interesting because it didn't feel like they were the butt of any jokes, and it didn't feel like it was meant to be like, ew, this is gross. And that was very new than what I think we see a lot of the time. However, the prince that was in that same room with them was really buttery and disgusting at times.
He was buttery.
So buttery.
That
And
is
the room was
great
fur
adjective.
lined.
I know, it's so upsetting. No.
It's fun
Upsetting.
and
It's
those-
aspirational.
that fur is just going to be so gross.
The fur-lined room was gross to me. But
That's
I
you know what? That's going to be how we're going to decorate for Sausage Fest this year. So
Fur-lined room.
I'm gonna
Oh.
not be there. That sounds really hot too. Like not.
Oh.
And not
yeah,
in a
it does.
good
It
way.
sounds awful.
Melanie, the fat size bodies were still a fetish. Yeah, that is accurate. But they named that too. Like they used the word fetish, and I was
Yeah.
like, okay. Which again, is this feminism? I don't know, but
Is this feminism?
is this feminism?
But
I don't
also, like, he put one of them in charge, like, later.
Right.
And they didn't say, and she was terrible. Like,
Yeah, well, they didn't make him the butt of a joke, but also sexualize them.
know.
Like it wasn't that wasn't played for a joke either. The prince kind of was,
Yeah.
but the women weren't.
Mhm.
But I was okay with him being played as a joke. Like as a fat dude, I'm all right for that. Like,
You're right. Being portrayed.
I
as
allow
buttery.
it. I allow it.
Okay. Amazing.
Luke Prince Redenbacher.
nice.
I mean, I did have a giant tub of popcorn while I watched this movie, so
Nice.
like I was communing with the prince there for a minute.
Oh my god.
I like get that fancy cheese and caramel popcorn and just let them mix.
Ooh.
Yeah, but then they get that 3 popcorn bin, and then they give you the regular, like the plain popcorn. It's like, get out of here!
Right? I don't
If
want
you
that.
weren't here, we could just take the divider out, and we'd all be happy.
Well,
But
see, the thing
instead-
is you dump that out, then you take the divider out, then you have a lot more room to shake things up and move it around.
Oh.
How are you
Usually the-
taking that out?
You just cover up the two and dump it.
Yeah,
My
Tony.
AMC, it's a side by side. It's just the caramel and the cheese.
No,
What?
no, I'm talking about
Oh,
the,
we're talking about, like,
tin
the
that you buy at
spoon?
Christmas time. Like
I'm
the-
talking about at the theater.
oh, see, we don't get
What?
that.
Hold on. What theater are you going to with caramel corn?
Yeah.
AMC theaters, like this movie, I went to the one near me in Creve Coeur.
I
They've
don't
got
have such things.
premium popcorn. They got both cheddar and caramel corn, or you can get a blend of the two.
I'm gonna body slam you tomorrow when we're not playing Charterstone because this information is blowing my goddamn mind and I feel attacked.
Oh man, maybe you should join the AMC A list with me.
No.
I'm gonna buzz market it for maybe if I say AMC A list enough times, they'll send me some free tickets. You can still put butter on the caramel corn too. There's nothing that stops
Sexy
you.
court.
for
The
it.
Oh.
Goblin King from
Oh
the
boy,
Hobbit.
that goiter. Oh, that goiter.
Thanks for the nightmare fuel. That's going in my tank.
Yes. The chat room is on fire today.
That room is on fire.
Art gets it.
I don't even know where the closest AMC theater is to here.
Probably
Now
Esquire.
that I've moved into the city.
That one in Richmond Heights.
There's that one that's, I think there's one in Clayton, I thought, but maybe I'm wrong.
That's-
Anyway,
Yeah, I
I
think
saw-
that's the same one we're talking about. Esquire.
Yeah. Yeah.
okay.
I don't know.
I
On my
saw-
side of the river, I got to go to Edwardsville. I might as well go to St.
Ew.
Louis.
Yeah.
I go to
Ew.
Edwardsville one for IMAX because it's never crowded.
I mean, if I'm going to go to Edwardsville for popcorn, I'll just go to the chef shop and buy a gigantic bag of popcorn of whatever I want.
And then wear cargo pockets into the theater and just fill them up.
Wear a hoodie and just have
Wear a
the
hoodie.
hoodie pocket is just full.
Mhm. Your kangaroo pouch.
That's right.
Just fill the hood
Oh.
with popcorn as well.
Uh-huh.
But the Esquire is across the street from where the
Flip it over.
Parkmore used to be. Like
Yeah.
when I was in high school, and that bums me out.
Would caramel corn help or hurt your being bummed out?
Well, it'll help in the beginning, but after I've eaten 20 pounds of it, it will hurt.
Got it.
Physically hurt.
Yeah.
That's true.
And there's
I
really
was-
no option not to eat 20 pounds of it. Because what
Nope.
you want to do, not eat 20 pounds of it?
Yeah. What am I gonna do?
You're not an animal.
Not
I'm
eat
the
it.
victim here.
It's true.
Gosh. Sometimes I get their giant pretzel, and I think it's like 8 pounds of pretzel, which is just way too much pretzel.
It's a
And
lot of pretzel.
It's got a girth to it, so that so that the center never gets fully cooked. So as you slide that into you, right, like you get a weird mush in the center.
I got to make sure to timestamp this part of the recording.
Great.
The girthy
That-
pretzel
I'm
conversation.
gonna isolate the audio for this.
Perfect.
Girthy pretzel mush.
Yeah.
That's what they called me in high school.
That is true. It is often too late for me, Luke. It does destroy me every time.
I'm sorry.
Well, he is a doctor.
And to be fair, like I should have just stopped eating it. A
No,
third of the
that's not
pretzel early.
that's not an option.
That's not fair.
It's not. It doesn't happen.
What are you going
Would
to do?
you- Well, especially if you're watching a movie, because you get distracted by the movie and you don't realize until it's gone that you've eaten it.
Yep.
And then I think to myself, you know what will help me slide this girthy pretzel down? Some cheese sauce, which is in no way cheese.
What are you gonna do?
No.
Ask the wind not to blow? I mean, come on.
Listen, we are living in the end of days. If you want a giant pretzel, eat the giant pretzel. Like,
Sure.
do whatever you want to do. This is
Sure.
2022.
Eat the pretzel while they're there.
Yeah.
What- It
Which,
helps
if you
if I-
say it the right way, is it's 2022.
Yeah.
If
Soon
If
we're
I
gonna
go
lean
to
into
the
it.
theater with Claire, we can share the pretzel and sort of like Lady and the Trampet as we choke down on it together. Mouth to mouth. No, I don't think that works. Anyway, I like
Anyway, this movie.
Anyway.
So, I didn't think that any of this was real.
Oh, I thought it all was real.
You think she's imagining this?
That's the book
Well-
she's writing.
Yeah, I think she's telling a story, right? And so I guess real is weird because one of the premises is that stories is how you make sense of the world. Because I think she told us a story inside the story of how she made sense of her miscarriage when she wrote a boy into existence and then stopped writing about him and he was gone. And then she puts his stuff, his box into the fire. And it's the same furnace that she has in her basement. It's the same kind of box that she has for her ex and for the Jinn. But there's no box for Enzo. Well, we see it in a picture, right? And so and then the genie's fading comes with ashes, which seems like putting in a fire like a box, right? I just kind of felt like all of it was her telling a story to make sense of.
Is this Babadook
World.
2?
Indeed.
Babadook 2.
I'm
First
I'm
Blood.
not even joking. I mean, like I didn't get any of that from it, but your explanation of it tracks.
Well, and the other
like,
thing that sort of
hard.
like fits for me is that she's seeing things before she meets the genie.
Yeah.
Right? She's already like envisioning stuff.
Mm.
Right?
Well, she also says this is all a true story, but I'm going to tell it to you in a way that is like a fairy tale, so you'll believe it.
Right. And like I think it's just her trying to explain stuff, desire, love, in a way that makes sense to her because she's an narratologist.
I could see that in some ways, especially because other people don't interact with him really, except at the very end. Who are her neighbors looking at and talking to then?
Mm-hmm. Well, I could also accept an explanation that she writes him into existence. Like her telling the story makes him be a thing. But I mean, I guess I thought that, you know, I sort of felt the idea that she was telling a story about this thing,
Sure.
as opposed to it being.
My name is
thing that's happened.
Alethea. My story is true. You're more likely to believe me, however, if I tell it as a fairy tale.
Are you trying to tell me she lied to me, Mitch?
I mean,
Mitch, why don't you believe women?
I don't believe narratologists. Their field seems real sketchy.
Fair. I did also question why she was seeing things before she actually gets the djinn, and I didn't know if maybe there was. Oh, that's a good point. Melanie just said in the chat, all the stories involve children and pregnancy too. Mm-hmm.
That's a really good point.
And they kind of have this like theme of like, so I think about so we got three main like love stories. I think about the middle one, right, where the woman is like peeking over the wall at something, so she's like an outsider looking onto something, not like being right there. Then you also have the woman who's a genius and like no one appreciates her genius and understands her thoughts and everything, and like she could have just like wished for recognition, but doesn't, right? Like, isn't a thing. And so there's like that theme of wanting people to like see and understand you.
So
can we talk about her wishes for a second?
Hang on a second. One sec before we go there. The genie calls her out at one point for being a liar.
Mm-hmm.
And he says there is no human, nor angel, nor demon who wouldn't grasp at the chance to fulfill their deepest longings. And I am saddled with the one who claims they want nothing at all. Althea Binney, you are a liar. Which someone in grief would lie to themselves about wanting and not wanting a child back.
Well, and Libby definitely said that she was okay being alone, but maybe she was lying about that. Not Libby. Althea was lying about being okay.
I hear all of this, and I just don't know that. And certainly, like, a miscarriage can be a super traumatic event, and you can grieve and all of those things. But I don't see that as like the inciting event that might cause her to invent this story, because it seems like a great deal of time passes between her miscarriage and the events of the movie.
Yeah, because I thought that was like a 10-year thing ago, and like
Mm-hmm.
I know we just nationally mourned 9/11 21 years after the fact, but like 10 years is not pass out on stage.
Well, and I thought they were like separate instances of thing. Like I think she wrote the stories about Enzo to explain her miscarriage. I think she wrote the story about the djinn to explain her solitariness.
But didn't it seem like she wrote about Enzo as a child, like before her marriage?
Yeah, she's a liar.
Got him.
Disagree with Mitch on this.
Well, she didn't want to tell the genie about the Enzo thing at first anyway. Like she tells him that later as a cautionary tale. I do this. I make up fictional characters and then destroy them. Right? And so I think she's just talking about her process, right? That he is a part of.
What is her reasoning for burning the Enzo like notebook and stuff? I can't remember what the event is that makes her do that.
She said she thought it was silly to have written so much.
Interesting.
In the context of the story, I'm not remembering specifics, but it seemed to be that she was growing out of having an imaginary friend. At least that's kind of the takeaway that I'm
Mhm.
left with on it.
Yeah, I think that tracks.
And honestly, I'm excited to watch this movie again to like look for those things when it invariably shows up on a streaming service for me.
Yeah, I want to watch it again also because I saw 2 movies in the theater on the same day, and this was one of them.
Yeah.
What was
What was
the
the
other
other
one?
one?
Where the Crawdads Sing.
Oh
Was it
my!
good? The book was amazing.
I have not read the book.
Okay.
The movie was it was exactly what I would have expected out of a movie like this. It was as expected. It wasn't mind blowing. It wasn't it was very pretty. There was some really great some good cinematography. The story was linear, pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
And it wasn't surprising.
Okay.
The ending wasn't a surprise. It like I legitimately heard someone gasp at the final reveal in the movie, and I'm like, are we for fucking real here? Because like this was explained throughout the movie what was going on. But
A very quick story about that. I went and saw Sweeney Todd at the Muni this year, and a guy a couple like seats away from me had clearly never seen it and had not like thought to look at the plot, because the first time Sweeney Todd killed someone, this guy went, "Oh my god!" and like gasped and like covered, and then he just kept freaking out the whole time. And I was like, "This is not a Happy Barber story, my dude." Like
he was Jersey girling the movie, like when he sees the play for the first time, he's like, "What are we watching?"
So upset.
So I saw Dirty Dancing at the Fox. So it was the stage production.
Oh wow!
And at the end, when they do the lift, the audience gasped. I'm like, come on. Did you think there was going to be a failure? Like what? But the other one I thought was really
those
weird.
people applauded for Avatar 2.
That's true. But fair enough. I also saw The Matrix at the Symphony, where the orchestra like plays the soundtrack. And what's his name? Alan Silvestri was the guest conductor for the orchestra that night.
Cool.
So it was pretty awesome. But then while we're watching it, there's a scene where Neo has taken a pill and like he touches a mirror and it like it's all weird. And he's being pulled through. And in the Powell Hall, there are gasps all around. I'm like, I understand there's people who haven't seen The Matrix, but why did they come to the Symphony to watch The Matrix for the first time? It seems really odd to me.
I've done that play along thing a bunch.
I love it.
I just saw The Matrix for the first time this year, but I would have seen it at the Symphony. That sounds cool.
It was.
For late 90s, that shit was on fire.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird to not see a movie like that spawned so many other movies until later, because then as you're watching it, you're like, oh, this is what was being referenced in 80 other things that I've seen.
Right.
I felt the same way when I watched The Godfather like last year. So
you got to
The Godfather's amazing. However, it's hard to watch after there have been so many other things. Like if you didn't see it early, it makes it harder to watch. Like the cinematic references feel like it's rehashed, even though it was the first time they did a lot of that stuff.
That's how The Matrix felt for me, and it wasn't until someone was like, hey, consider this as like a trans allegory that I was like, oh, I like this better. Yeah.
I guess that's right, true, Melanie. I'm not sure how the season passes for the Symphony go. So maybe people just go to everything.
You get them and then you pick the show, like they give you
Oh.
the schedule and you pick like 3 or 4 shows that you're going to go to.
I see.
I've had them before.
I had that like movie watching reference problem when I watched Hot Shots before I watched Top Gun.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, if you watch any
Yeah.
of the parody movies, it's
It's like watching Austin Powers before you see any James Bond or
I have never seen a single James Bond movie, and that's not true. I fell asleep halfway through Skyfall. I've seen half of Skyfall.
Skyfall's hard to watch without watching some of the movies before it.
True. It was a poor choice. It's also very long
Yeah,
for someone who.
that's a shame. I think Skyfall is the best of the Daniel Craig ones.
it's
Is that the-
really good.
Is that the one with the Dovahkiin and
What does that mean? This is the one with Javier Bardem.
I got it, Mitch. I got the joke.
thanks, Libby.
It was a Skyrim joke, people. How was the?
I remember playing that game once.
Ouch. Played that game in like 8 different iterations because
Oh
they
my God,
keep
I
releasing it.
I replay that game every year.
If I had an Alexa, I would play it on Alexa.
Yeah, I liked The Matrix well enough, but it was no Dark City.
Oh yeah, Dark City is fantastic.
I prefer Morbius.
It's morbid time. That's what we should review next week. I think Morbius just
yeah,
landed on
it's
that.
on
It is on Netflix now. I saw that pop up when I was watching. We watched some of Cobra Kai this weekend, and like I turned it on, and that was the splash screen. I'm like, God damn it, Mitch!
Welcome to the Morbiverse.
It's hilarious. I have watched it since it hit Netflix just to remind myself that, I'm doing okay. My life is fine because I didn't participate in the making of this trash.
Nah, so
I
here's,
haven't seen
here's
it
what
at
I've
all.
decided. 2022 is going to be the year where I just stop consuming all media and
Mm.
don't watch shit I know is going to be terrible. And that's why I'm not watching Rings of Power, or the new Game of Thrones. And now I can be that guy who's like, I'm not watching Game of Thrones. And it's not because I'm cool. It's because fuck them. They
I
burned a bridge with me, and we
Yeah.
will never cross the river again.
I'm with you.
I haven't seen the most recent episode of Game of Thrones, but I'm gonna
House of-
watch it as soon as House of the Dragon. I'm gonna watch it as soon as we're done here.
Tony, this latest episode is why I'm not watching it anymore. So
I saw your post. I
was
saw
like-
your post,
gross. No, bye.
but I've read the book, so like
Oh, I see.
I
I,
know.
did not do that.
I know.
The book.
You know what's up.
Yeah,
Hey, what movie are we talking about?
Presently,
I do just enjoy the conversational drift.
What is,
oh, that's
what is
that's just the way we do.
What
Oh, I
is
love that.
absolutely fascinating to me is that the two leads have zero sexual chemistry. Like none. There's a scene, there's like a tableau scene where they're both naked and entwined with each other. And I was like, this is not sexy.
was that his giant dick over her leg, or was that his leg?
It was his leg.
That was his leg.
That might have been a giant genie dick.
I mean, third
The-
leg.
Yeah, all right. It just tripod elba. But for me, that was also part of it, right? Because she doesn't like that. Like her ideas about love and desire are what's manifesting in the story,
If we accept your framing of the story.
right? So that's what it looked like to me. Their lack of chemistry was
Mm.
because this is a character that she is inventing. And like the way that love worked and how it was different than desire, I thought was the fairy taleness of it. Like the theme, like, fairy tales have that like moral lesson because they kind of like harp on that about like, oh, wishes always work out badly and all these sort of things. But it was that like the way their desire working was the thing that hurt them.
Well, you also had the fact that at the beginning, he had the most beautiful woman ever. Period. Full stop. And those two had sexual chemistry
Yeah.
on screen. Like that, there was no doubt. But
Who
I
was that
think
actress?
I don't know. But
Okay.
I think the sexuality of those two people were framed on her ideas of sexuality
Mm.
and his having having been a being for 3,000 years, he seems to be beyond just the physical aspects of it and connecting with her desires instead of connecting with her body. That's kind of my takeaway from watching those scenes. It's like, yeah, they weren't awkward, but they also weren't like fluid sexually. However, like they did, I think Libby, I think you said that there was an emotional connection, an
Yeah.
emotional chemistry, and I think that's what came through in those scenes more than anything. In their getting it on scene.
She's
Yeah.
uncredited.
Really?
Really? I found her.
Oh no, I found her. Amito Lagam. But like she wasn't listed in the credits.
Oh, what
Huh.
the damn hell?
Did she not have a line? She swallowed once.
No, she has a line
You
because
have to go to the.
they're looking out the window and what's his face, the king that crossed the desert to court her.
Solid.
And Idris Elba says something where he's like warning her, and she responds, and I only remember that because I thought her voice was gorgeous. She was on Africa's
You have
Next
to
Top.
click into the full cast, Mitch, not just the top cast.
No, I did, but she's down toward the bottom as Sheba, uncredited.
Oh, you okay? All right, I get you.
Are you suggesting that we sometimes don't give Black women credit for the work that they do?
I mean,
What?
Seems like a thing that happened.
That's gross and upsetting.
Yeah. Did you see her grow that sick leg hair?
Yeah, that was dope.
Sick.
Practical effect.
I also enjoyed that a lot. It was like the body hair symbolism. I liked that. The symbolism of her shaving it and everything to like look sexier for the king. I was like, oh, this is not gonna it's not gonna be good.
Ibrahim, wasn't that the prince?
Mhm.
He was uncredited also.
Does he have a line? Does he talk through the window? Yeah, he says like brother.
Mm-hmm.
The buttery prince? Yeah. Prince
Buttery
Brethren.
Prince. What is going on with this?
What the hell?
Well, we'll have to check
Write a letter.
this. The problem with IMDb on movies that aren't gigantic, and
Mhm.
if those particular actors don't have an agent or someone with IMDb Pro, they won't necessarily get listed on the credits of IMDb properly.
Mm. Okay.
I had IMDb Pro for a couple of months. They gave it to me because of the podcast. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm ever going to do with this. Like, I don't know why you want me to have this. This seems like a bad idea. Whoever made the decision to give this to me, they need to at least get a written warning. Somebody's not thinking this through.
I did
Either
like
that or the person that gave it to me did it on their last day of work.
I like that iteration. I did like the gulping to show that you're like feeling it when people are being sexy.
That's what it took. One
All right.
good gulp.
Now can we talk about how the smart chick's wish was bullshit? She's like, I wish for all the knowledge in the world, and he's like, let me teach you. No, I don't want to be taught. I just want the knowledge. Like, why do I have to fucking work for it? How is this a wish? I could just read things.
Yeah, like the way his magic works doesn't seem to like make reality bend mostly. He was able to fetch books and bring them to her.
Yeah. Yeah, it was interesting how the rules of it worked. He could make things happen for people, but like he had to put in the work.
Mm-hmm.
Which I guess in a way kind of could lend credence to Mitch's idea that she became so smart because she put in the work.
But then
I don't know.
she
I'm not
wishes-
on board with it completely.
But then she wishes
I'm
that she
listening
forgets
to
him.
it.
and instantly forgets him.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's you. Because that's something he can do. Yeah, that's weird.
He also is able to make I think it's the second person pregnant when she wishes that. So he can affect like bodily
That's
change.
true. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's true, David. It's she could have just gone to the library. I think maybe she like speed reads kind of, or I don't
The
know how
same way that the
that Tilda Swinton,
Mhm.
Alethea.
Mhm. Dun dun dun.
I did like that a lot. Women be reading.
Mhm.
Hiding their books and bottles.
And their occasional genies. Hidden in a
Occasional
bottle.
Genie would be a decent band name.
Right? Saw them open for the Flaming Lips. Feel like sounds like that's who they'd be attached to.
George Miller did not steer me wrong with this movie.
And what else did he do? Babe 2, Pig in the City?
He did Babe.
Happy
well.
Feet and Happy Feet 2,
Mhm.
which is really weird to me. The guy that brought us Mad Max, The Road Warrior,
Right.
Fury Road is the same dude who brought us Happy Feet and Babe, Pig in the City,
I mean, Babe
and The
Pig in the
Witches of
City
Eastwick.
is for real.
Oh
like,
yeah, I was gonna say my favorite is The Witches of Eastwick. It is the weirdest movie.
Oh, he also did the Nightmare at 20,000 Feet segment of the Twilight Zone movie.
Wow.
Mhm. Which one?
You can do more than one thing.
Mhm. I mean, I know I led with Babe 2, but that is a sequel that I quite enjoyed. Being quite a bit different from the original movie, but I'm still in. Still
He
in for
did
more Babe.
he did the screenplay for Babe, and Babe, Pig in the City is credited as written by him.
Mhm.
And so is Happy Feet and Happy Feet 2.
Mhm.
And he brought us Furiosa as well. You can't thank him enough.
Will be bringing us soon. The
Oh,
movie
he kind of
Furiosa.
already brought
Wow.
us her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the character has been,
Right, but we're also getting the Furiosa movie soon.
my God.
I
I
don't
think
know.
Charlize reached a point in her career where she's like, "Fuck it, I'm doing shit I want to do." Then she did a spy movie. Fuck, what the fuck was that spy movie she did? Atomic Blonde.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was good.
I like
Mhm.
that. Well, and she also did that Immortal, like Highlander clone on Netflix.
Mhm.
Old Guard.
Yeah. It felt to me like they were turning that into a series or a franchise or something.
It did feel like that, but I haven't heard anything else about it.
Yeah, I'd come back for more.
Yeah, I want more of that
it's
shit.
currently filming.
Oh,
She's a producer on it, and
Yeah, I bet.
good for her.
Atomic Blonde 2 has been announced.
Ooh.
Even blonder. Atomic Blonde 2, Platinum.
The Blondinine.
Ooh.
Well, I will also watch the shit out of that.
Mhm.
Beautiful.
As Charlize Theron ages, is she approaching young Sigourney Weaver? Like as far as the role she's taking?
Oh, what are you doing? What is happening here?
Am I wrong?
Can you give me an example?
Okay. I think the problem, though, is that Sigourney Weaver did it in the 80s.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. I mean, she broke the ground. She broke a lot of ground. But she did it younger. Like the Aliens movies, Alien. I mean, and then she just stayed there too long.
Hey, everybody's got to eat.
Yeah. After she was in that disastrous Ghostbusters movie.
What?
Which is great in Galaxy Quest.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so good.
Mhm.
I liked her cameo in the Melissa McCarthy Ghostbusters as well. That was funny.
I quite enjoyed that Ghostbusters.
I did as well. Chris Hemsworth was hilarious as a ditzy assistant.
Yeah.
Oh,
His
I watched.
dog's name is Mike Hat. I love it so much.
I saw him in that weird prison movie. It's on Netflix. It looks real bad.
It does look real bad. That's why I didn't watch it.
I've watched at least the first half, but I think I got asleep.
Asleep.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like someone knocked you out.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of a thing that happened.
All right.
There was something else that we were talking about, and that movie came up. Was it the movie that his wife made? That was not great.
We were watching
missile.
that. Yeah, the missile movie where the missiles are coming over the oil platform or whatever.
Yeah.
God damn it! I have to walk away from this conversation.
That movie was so bad.
That movie was so bad.
Netflix recommended a movie to me.
Spiderhead. That's the
That's
name of the movie that you were just talking about a few minutes ago.
It is Spiderhead. There's a Spanish movie that Netflix recommended to me called The Platform or El Hoyo.
We talked about it on the podcast.
You've already watched that?
Yeah, is that the one with the it's the prison,
The food.
but yeah, it's just a platform that goes up and down.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I like that movie a lot.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna watch it then.
Yeah, you should. And then you can go back and listen to the podcast we did.
Woo. Oh yeah, I see now that it's old, or
Mhm.
not current.
It's not current. We watched it shortly after it came out on Netflix, just because there was a lot of buzz about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I also sort of took away the Finding Dory cameo. Yeah. that's
Heck
wonderful.
yeah. By the way, this Melanie who's commenting is here because I am a guest host. So hi, Melanie. I love you. She has the only children in the world that I like. So I put that plug in.
Thanks for showing up, Melly.
Yeah. I really liked in this movie, in the 3,000 Years of Longing, the sort of sense that knowing people is the thing that is most it's the thing they want, right? Knowing and understanding. Right? They didn't tell us what the words you have to whisper to someone to whatever, but I kind of felt like that's what it's about, someone feeling seen and understood
Affirm.
and known.
Mhm.
Which kind of again reinforce that difference between your heart's desire and then also knowing yourself or knowing what's going on.
Mhm.
I also feel it's rude that when she wished for those simple things, he didn't just take that and run with it. Because later he did seem just wish for anything, when he wanted one last wish. But,
Right.
it's fine.
No kidding.
These wish rules. It's sketchy.
That's not
3,000
your
years
heart's
of not
desire.
believing women. I just want this
I had a question about the rules, and maybe I don't know, Mitch, if you got this far in the story, but one of the things he said is, I can't remove sin or I can't erase sin. The word sin was in there, which I thought was strange in the context, and I was like, what the hell does that mean?
Well, he does talk a little about that he is a faithful Jinn, he believes
Mhm.
in God. I don't know. I feel I'm about halfway through this novella. The Jinn hasn't been in it yet.
Oh,
It's mainly been her buddy from the conference showing her around Turkey.
watching her pass out on stages.
They're visiting interesting temples. They're talking about sculptures of gods and saints who have visited the area.
neat.
The prose is fantastic. It's really interesting to read.
Okay.
The story has not manifested yet.
The reviews on Audible were interesting. They were not kind. The few that I saw, the reviews were not kind.
I can buy it. Nothing's happened. I've read a lot.
Yeah,
The way it's not happened has been beautiful, but nothing's happened.
It's pretty
Well-
short, right?
I don't know. I feel it's kind of long. I would have called it a novella.
Okay.
The other thing is this is the book that they were reviewing was a anthology with the same title, and that is the last story in the anthology.
That's the one I'm reading. Just that
And
story.
yeah, and the reviews were a lot about the beginning stories. Like there were people that were like, yeah, I could only make 3 or 4 stories in, and I did not get a point to any of these fairy tales. If they're supposed to be fairy tales, there's no point to them, where fairy tales often have a pointed message to them. And these did not seem to, or at least I'm not getting the point. And perhaps you need to read all of them and then have that last novella story as a something that, you know, pulls everything together, ties it all up with a bow. I don't know.
Oh, I didn't read any of the rest. I skipped right to this one.
Yeah, I have no idea. But it's also, I mean, it was also only like 6.5 hours. I mean, because I was really considering just grabbing it. I listened to everything on 1.5 times speed anyway, so I was like, yeah, I could probably make it through that today. But then I decided not to.
That goddamn Tony.
I just kept listening to my Mafia History podcast.
Nothing wrong with that.
Except the dude that does it is just, oh my God, he doesn't know how to speak like a human being. Like, he gets on there himself. He writes things. He writes notes, but he doesn't write a script. So he just starts talking. And he says things like, I'm going to try to remember the exact phrasing he had on this. In my estimation, from what I've heard from people, this restaurant serves really great Italian food. Like, that's a quote. Like, what are you saying here? Are you making an opinion based on other people's opinions?
Yes.
And then putting it out as your own? Like, I don't know. He does that shit all the time.
I mean, he did tell you that that's what he heard from other people.
He did.
So it's not his own.
He also talks about these guys going to different countries, and that was one where the same guy kept going to Venezuela, and he kept saying Venezuela.
Oh,
yeah.
No.
Like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
I overheard 2 very broy 19-year-old students talking, and one said to the other one, "You know, I've never had one, but I heard that papayas are not good." I'm just like, why? Like, what would call for you to say that?
What is this conversation?
Right? How are they doing this?
Sometimes
I'm
you
gonna need
sit
some more
together with your
context
bros,
here.
talk
That's all I
about
got.
fruit. Yeah.
That's the only context I got. I write down some of the weird things because I feel like that'll be good dialogue.
Yeah.
At some point. I also I'm looking at my Goodreads notes for this story already.
Notes and Goodreads for books you read?
I do. Like, I highlight things.
Yeah,
But I
you
think
can
I just-
post some stuff too. It's nice. If you have the Kindle app too, you can upload it into StoryGraph, which is another app.
So one of the quotes that I highlighted was, "Destiny for men is to lose dignity because of female rapacity and duplicity, and destiny for women is to be put to the sword on that account." Like, wow. That's strongly worded.
What is happening?
And another bit where she is observing the
I'm gonna need somebody to diagram that sentence.
I got you.
And there's also a bit where she is observing the statue of Artemis that is there, and sort of ancient wonders bit. And she says, "Her breasts are frightening, like Medusa's snakes. Too much, but an orderly too much."
Did a man write this book?
No.
What?
No.
I would not have guessed
No.
Mm-hmm.
I
No. It.
dislike that.
Yeah.
that. It feels very George R.R. Martin.
It does.
Daenerys could feel her tits as she walked down the stairs. This
Right,
is
and you're
fucking
like-
weird.
That sounds like a lot of 80s sci-fi. That's what that sounds like.
And the author is a dame.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
She's a skirt and she's out here writing this way. Come on, man.
No, I mean, I think, royalty kind of dame.
Oh, I thought we were just naming weird names for women.
Wow,
Just a
now who's not giving women their credit?
Is dating really something I should give someone credit for? Like, what do you need to do for the courts and colonizers to be like, you deserve a title?
I don't know. Judi Dench got it.
She wrote some novels, like Possession, the children's book.
That could have been a grammar book.
S.A. Byatt
Mhm.
is the name of the author.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, A.S. Byatt.
Mhm. Dame Antonia Susan Duffy, née Drabble.
It's a good name change. And
Drabble.
Drapple. You grackle.
Mhm.
I found out last night that that's a bird.
A grackle?
Yeah, Wingspan gave him that knowledge.
Sure.
Oh, you didn't know that?
No, I obviously didn't know that because I found it out last night. And that will be my
so
new
we-
response when people are like, "Oh, you didn't know that?" No, I just literally told you I didn't know that before then. Keep up.
This is why everyone should play Wingspan. You learn about birds. And then you won't feel silly like David.
I don't feel silly.
Because he knows it now.
I know it now. Listen, you can't know everything. Literally, there are things you don't know.
Unless you make a wish to a genie.
And then you
And
gotta read
bring you so many books.
so many. But I have an iPad, so I kind of have access to all books.
Mhm.
It also just clicked in my head that he had to read all those books, but his magic can like turn them into bottles. Like you couldn't have made that easier for her, but you could make it into a pretty glass bottle.
Mhm.
What?
I promise you there's a grackle.
It's there. Melanie pointed out that the god that the genie is like worshiping is probably Allah.
Yeah. Yeah, I popped that up a minute ago.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
that makes sense. Given the geographical location, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
that's kind of what I thought, but all of it seemed to be like connected to this like sin and virtue thing that seems to come with religion. I'm not so sure.
Right. His
Which-
comment about not being able to erase sin was confusing to me because I was like, does this mean he can't like undo past things, or like what are we talking here?
Yeah, that was kind of the thing that I took from you can't undo things you fucked up.
Yeah, like if you
did
murder
he
somebody, you
say it
can't
that
bring
way?
them back to life.
No regrets.
No regrets.
God, that'd be a good goddamn tattoo. I would look at that. I would catch it in the mirror and I would laugh. And that's exactly what I want from a tattoo.
There's your next tattoo idea then, David. You got it.
It's what I already have with the tattoo I've got.
Perfect.
What you got?
I have a metal slime from Dragon Warrior.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I've seen that.
Uh-huh. And then I'll catch it in the mirror and I'll be like, what? 20-year-old me, you got me again.
Saw a guy with a full color, full back tattoo of an English fox hunt. So there's like a guy on a horse with a big red coat and everything and bugle. And the fox is at the bottom of that tattoo diving down his ass crack. And like that is so much money and time and
Wow.
effort for that joke. He's committed to it.
That is perfection.
Yeah.
Wow.
That man has a serious understanding of comedy.
Yes.
Like a deep understanding of comedy.
Divine being and good. Oh, okay.
So
That
for the
makes-
listeners, for the people who eventually, when I release this as an audio podcast, Art says, I took it as he wasn't a divine being and couldn't forgive sin, which might have been something that was asked for a lot considering the times in which he was alive. He was active. Yep,
And I don't-
that kind of tracks.
I don't remember if this distinction was something that was in a talk that was in the book or something that was in the movie. They talked about angels are creatures of something. Then there's Jinn, who are creatures of fire, like subtle fire energy. And then humans are creatures of dust. Maybe this is in the book, but
He did say
sounds
something
familiar.
about being a creature of fire, and she was a being or an entity of fire, and she was a being or an entity of dust.
Mhm.
I do recall that.
So I think in the book bit, her friend is doing a talk on genies and mentions
Mm.
this in there that angels are one type of thing, genies are another type, and then humans are this third type.
Sure.
Jinn are like a really old notion too. Like that's one of the earliest supernatural things that we have like records of, or at least of like myths and things like that. So I'm sure there's lots of lore about them that I don't know. I really like how What We Do in the Shadows has a Jinn in this latest season, and how they're doing it is pretty funny.
I
It's
have not
great.
seen this season.
It is great.
Well, do it.
The whole season is fantastic.
It's
I mean,
really
it
good.
usually is.
The whole last season was goddamn brilliant.
Mhm.
Like the reveal at the end that the whole reason that Laszlo was buddying up to Colin Robbins was because he learned early on that that this was his 100th year, and he just didn't want him to be alone as he died. Like that was just it was so good.
The things that I would do to Matt Berry with consent, it's a damn long list. That man is gorgeous and very funny.
Same.
That fucking voice.
That fucking voice. Also, his role in IT Crowd and how his character shows up is a goddamn revelation. To
I
just
like-
show up at your dad's funeral and start slapping the priest is an excellent thing to do.
I like that other one. Was it Toast of London? Is that what it is?
London.
Toast of London is really funny.
I've
Yes,
seen
I
it.
hear you,
Sometimes
Clem
I know.
Fandango.
Can you hear
Dude,
me?
that one.
Yes, I hear you.
Yeah, that show has cracked me up several times.
John Hamm's role in it is very funny. If you've never seen the episodes with John Hamm, it's very, very funny.
Who? Because I feel like it's a Toast repeated line.
Yes.
With anyone famous?
Brilliant.
Well, I'd come back for 4,000 Years of Longing if they do a sequel.
Hmm.
And we could hear more stories. I did really enjoy the story weaving in this, and I thought it was really creative and interesting.
Mhm.
Also, I just really loved the costuming and all the other like set trappings and things. It was a very pretty movie to look at.
Yeah, it'd look cool.
I am a sucker for a movie that tells stories to tell a story,
Mm-hmm.
or books, or I like the conceit of shorter stories make up a longer story.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why I'm such a sucker for the Sandman too.
Mm-hmm. Gosh, I love that.
Do you mean the show or the book?
Yes.
Okay. I would have started watching that much sooner if someone had told me Patton Oswalt is a freaking bird's voice. I would have been way more on board. Oh my god.
This is this is volume 1.
Ew.
Whoa.
Why is it so
Yeah.
big?
Because it's all of them. There's 3 volumes, and it's all of the books. It's all the comics.
Hmm. Hmm.
On really, really great paper.
Ooh.
So
I love good paper in a book.
well, especially for graphic novels,
Mhm.
like some of them were printed just on newsprint. Actually, I'm
Oh.
not sure if I don't remember if the old Sandman comics, they might have printed them in a higher card stock in the Vertigo line, but my bet is they didn't. They still printed some of them just on newsprint. So the art transfer is so much nicer on the high gloss paper. It
Ooh.
looks really good.
That is nice.
Well, if you're interested in large books, Tony, I have it on good authority that they have printed every issue of One Piece into a single 21,000 page book.
Whew.
It's long.
That's
It
one of
might
those.
be taller than I am.
That seems ridiculous.
Yeah,
You
that's
can't
why they did
read
it. Wow, you can't read that.
It's one
Probably
of those
'cause it's
anime.
Japanese.
It just totally intimidates me how many episodes of that show there are. I'm like, I can't get started with this. There's like, what, 400? I can't do this.
Listen, I did Naruto and I did Bleach. I feel like I put my time in on
Oof.
really long series.
God, I quit Bleach when they went to the desert. Is that what happens?
Oh, no, after the Soul Society arc is when you get out.
Yeah,
After that, it goes way downhill.
I was out.
And
I've
then
watched
Naruto-
no episodes of either of these things, so
Naruto is really good, but you have to know when to quit the first series and then jump to the second series. Because there's like a point where like the main plot wraps up and then they do like a shit ton of filler. And I think the filler is still going and the filler is all terrible. But then the second season, the second thing is like a time jump 3 years later and they come back and it's like there's a whole like generational evolution situation happening there that's actually really goddamn good. Fuck, now I gotta rewatch all that shit. I don't have time for that.
I saw Art say about Baron Munchausen. I loved the Baron Munchausen movie.
yeah.
It was great fun. With Sting, isn't it, briefly?
Wow.
It's been a long time.
Uma
It's a
Thurman
long time
as
since I watched it, yeah.
Aphrodite. And Eric Idle.
hmm
Nice.
Because Terry Gilliam, I think maybe he was the director.
I believe so. That sounds right. He's made some movies.
It's a ringing endorsement.
He's got
Well,
some
when you see his movies, yeah, you'll.
That's all right.
I liked Brazil with a young your dad in it as a
It's
You
a
know.
weird goddamn movie,
thing.
but it's good.
I don't think my
HVAC
dad.
technician.
I don't think my dad started looking like De Niro until he started going gray,
Mm.
which admittedly for my dad was like 23.
But like in Brazil, like he really showcases his like deep mistrust of women. Because the whole reason the main character has any trouble is because he likes a girl, and he's just continually punished for it. But 12
That's not
Monkeys,
something I want to watch.
12 Monkeys is good.
12 Monkeys, I loved.
I mean,
the thing I
Brazil.
like about
It tracks that Brazil is such a favorite of people who are currently just bashing things that are coming out now. Like because they feel like the people that's talking to that they feel like women are the source of all their problems, even though they're not.
That's all we do, you know. Like
Well,
the
you know, you witches in your hexy ways. I mean,
We're the witches of Eastbrook out here.
Hexy ways.
Hexy ways. I have had 2 different Mormon men break up with me for giving them sinful thoughts. So that's about as close to that as I've gotten. But
nice.
that was my fault.
Nice.
My
I
bad.
almost made a Jehovah's Witness cry on my doorstep.
Did you give them sinful thoughts, Tony?
I told him that I didn't believe in hell, that I thought it was a ridiculous notion if you believe in a loving and forgiving God. And like you could watch his brain reset, like he didn't understand. Like, wait, so is your God loving and forgiving? Well, yes, of course. But you believe in eternal damnation? Absolutely. Why? How? How does that work? How can you be eternally damned if you can be forgiven?
You know, they don't believe in hell, Tony.
I know.
They just don't believe you're going to be resurrected,
Yeah, that's fine. I don't care.
which is its
No,
own
it's
kind of hell.
That seems like a lot of work.
Melanie says, just tell the Jehovah's Witnesses you're Mormon. It works for me. J-Dubs? She said
Yeah.
J-Dubs, how we talk about Jehovah's Witnesses.
Mhm.
You know, them J-Dubs.
I usually just use my ex-father-in-law to get out of it because he was a big name here in St. Louis. So I'm like, oh, do you guys know Ernie? Yeah, he moved away. All right, see you later.
We have a large Mormon community in our town, which is just really weird.
Well, didn't they stop here first on their way? Wasn't this where Eden was? Some earlier iteration of the
Eden
Mormon
is in
migration?
Jacksonville, Missouri.
There you
Mhm.
I have a very a lot of knowledge about Mormon faith. So
Exciting.
thanks to Melanie, who is commenting here.
Jacquelineville?
Yeah,
Doesn't even seem like a real name.
I watched Under the Banner of Heaven. That was
Oh, yeah.
something else.
Jacquelineville, Jacksonville.
Jacksonville.
Oh, okay, all right.
I'm pretty sure.
Maybe
In
just-
Jacksonville,
Are
Missouri.
you trying to Google this? Can you just Google Mormon Eden?
Oh, I thought I heard Jacquelineville, and then
Oh,
that
no.
came up with nothing.
No, I don't know that Jacksonville is a place.
It's
I
not.
think they did stop here on the trail to Utah, but I'm not totally certain on that.
Oh, just a
Yeah,
little bit north of Moberly.
Oh,
Mm.
I know a chick from Moberly.
Adam Bundy Aman.
I'm enjoying that we have decided to Google Mormon things.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Thanks, Mel.
I found it on Wikipedia.
It's in Davies County.
Hmm. Looks great.
Yeah, has anybody watched Under the Banner of Heaven?
Mm-mm.
It's it's on Hulu. I think it's on Hulu. It's based on a novel, and it is a murder mystery set in Utah around the Mormon communities in the early 80s, and Andrew Garfield plays a Mormon detective. So he's like investigating the people who like he was raised around, and like I learned a lot about what that show wanted to teach me about Mormonism, which is probably not,
Is this
I'm on
a Spider-Man movie?
huh?
This is a Spider-Man movie?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. At one point, he dances down the
it's
street and
it's
points
Amazing
at-
Spider-Man 4.
Yep.
Yeah, that movie is fucking weird. Like the whole point of the TV show is that Mormons are fucking weird. Like that's the big takeaway from the whole thing.
If Mormons ever knock at your door and you have a woman in your house, if they say they're home alone, the missionaries won't come in. So that's how I get out of it.
Oh, nice.
Because those men can't be alone with women. Because
Do you
of
think it's a good idea to tell randos who show up at your door that you're home alone?
I never actually am. I just usually tell Zach to like hide. I don't know. I
Feels like
woke up
that can
this
cut
week
both
with a-
ways.
I just like I like talking to those people because like I like messing with them. It's a really bad habit I have. We had a satellite dish provider that used to call the house like right as we sat down to dinner, and he would do it like twice a week. So finally one day, I kept him on the phone for like 45 minutes, explaining to him how the technology worked.
No, but Tony, you were on the phone for 45 minutes.
They never called back.
You
One
just-
time, I took the bullet, and they never called back.
Well, the solution is you don't answer your landline.
What?
Don't answer your phone. Just
You have to answer your landline.
Never
That's what they're for.
You have a landline?
Not
Jeez,
anymore. Well,
when,
not anymore. Not for years at this point.
Sometimes I miss having a landline because then I could leave my house and leave my phone there, which I can do with my cell phone, I guess, but it feels different.
It does, because then, like, literally as soon as you leave your house, you're like, fuck, I wish I had my phone.
So what I did was I took my landline after my
long cord.
after my mother-in-law passed away, because we had given her a cell phone, and so after she passed away, we reacquired the cell phone because it was still on our plan. I transferred our I transferred our landline to that cell phone line, and then waited for the contract to expire. And just as the contract expired, I transferred that to a Google Voice number. So I have my old landline as a Google Voice number.
Nice.
So
Wow.
I didn't have to worry about transferring like all the utilities and all that stuff.
Perfect.
If a doctor's office forgets and calls the wrong number, we still get the voicemail.
When I was a youth in high school, I was a telemarketer and I sold AT&T to people.
Wow.
And
That bums me
oftentimes I
out.
was working second shift, and I would open my call with, "I'm sorry to interrupt your dinner."
That bums
Excellent.
me out.
I did that for a week. I sold magazines and I did it for like a week. It was the worst week of my life.
I sold so much long distance. It was ridiculous. We were supposed to get one sale an hour, and I generally had around 15.
Wow. That's the weirdest flex of all time.
I know. I'm just like really good at having a soothing phone voice for
Doing it.
olds.
I could
You're
see that.
the AT&T of people.
Yeah, that's
Today, I was on the phone with somebody, and we were doing a screen share, and he got a message from somebody named Raja, and I was like, "Did you tell them that they're named after the elephant we have at the St. Louis Zoo?" And he's like, "Is that true?" And I was like, "Oh God, I hope Raja's still alive." So I looked it up,
Live?
and I was like, "I remember when Raja was born, and we did the whole let's vote on the name thing." And then I was like, "Oh my God, Raja was born in 1992." And then he's like, "Oh, that's a year before I was born. Fuck this."
done.
I have
I
no comment.
remember it.
Oh my gosh, I had this student telling me the sob story about it's the anniversary of his girlfriend's death, who died an accidental death, and he said it's just been a really stressful year, and I feel like this is just unnaturally aged me. Like I'm 19, I feel so old, like I'm 25 or something.
Ugh.
Okay, get the fuck out of here. Like, you're done.
Yeah. Hail, get out.
Like, I am standing right here, you ancient 25-year-old feeling person.
And this is how we know you're 19.
hmm Like, no, you don't have to take the test this week.
But get the
That all it takes, Mitch.
I mean, yeah. Does it matter if they learn it fast or they learn it at all?
Growing up, we had a landline with the rotary dial, and I still
Ooh.
think about how nice that was. It was a very nice sensory experience for me.
Mhm.
And I bet if I handed a phone like that to most of the people I know born after 2000, they would have no earthly clue how to dial.
That's those are some of my favorite TikTok videos.
Well,
Is them handing old pieces of technology to children and them like not understanding what it is.
You mean like CDs,
Oh my gosh.
right?
Cassette
Like,
tapes.
come on.
Why is there a picture of a vending machine and why do we use that to save things on our computer?
Oh no.
Yeah.
Why'd you 3D print a save icon? Right? I think that's where they are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that.
No, but you know what? I'm to the point where because I live where I live, most people just assume that anyone who lives here is in the military or was in the military. So like, oh, do you get a military discount? No. And then they'll leave and they'll come back and it's like, I just got a senior discount. I'm not mad. I'm not eligible for it yet, but I'm not going to argue with it.
Take the win.
Yep.
Right?
Take the discount.
Tony, I went to Deerberg's the other day, and I was during the move, and I was very tired from moving. And I bought some vodka because they had that green apple vodka I really like, and they just had it on a display.
Was it
Between-
Stumpy's?
Yeah,
That stuff's
But-
good.
it is good. Between me and I don't even remember what I was there for, but the bottle was between me and it, so I was like, I can never have enough. Like, I'm gonna drink this. So I grabbed it. I went to the checkout, and like, I got a significant amount of gray happening here, and like they have to card you if you're like under 25 or like under 25 or whatever. And so like the woman is like, "Oh baby, you look terrible, but I'm gonna need to see your ID." I'm like, wait, what the fuck? What the fuck? God damn it.
That's what you get.
Yeah, but have you seen Holden lately? He looks like he could probably just waltz through most places. He's just like got that full beard. Jesus Christ.
I can't grow the full beard.
I don't know why he keeps
Me
wanting
either.
to.
Like, it's all stringy.
This took me decades. Like
Decades?
throughout all of my 20s, it was nothing. I'd get like 2 patches like right here.
Mm-hmm.
Not till about 35 could I get like enough of it to be a beard to like stick.
I still can't grow a goatee connector over here.
Mhm.
So like I don't grow hair right here, so my mustache doesn't actually connect with the rest of my face. Like it looks like it's gray, it's not gray. There's just no hair there. It's just missing.
I'm so jealous because especially when winter hits, I wish that I could grow a beard. I wish it very much because it hurts out here.
It does. It does. It's really nice. It's honestly really nice. Normally, I
Mhm.
will let the full beard just stay from like December through February.
Mhm.
And normally I've got like about a 6-week limit on the facial hair, so I push it as long as I can. Like I'll keep the goatee, but like that, oh, I need to have smooth cheeks every once in a while.
Fair.
But yeah, it really helps having that wind block.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't get any up here, so I take it here where I can.
Got to make some choices.
That's right.
A couple of years ago, now it's been like 3 now, just look at the date, was I was in a short film where I shaved for the role. And so it took me a good, like, I don't know, 4 months to drop the baby face again. It was real bad. So I just have to keep this. I can't like
if I get rid of mine, I
season.
probably have about a week before it's not quite as baby faced.
This is from Saturday.
Yeah, I shaved this afternoon, so that's why I'm smooth. But yeah, it used to be really bad. I do appreciate that you can use facial hair to contour your face also. Like I'll never forget a friend of mine was talking about that. Like we'd watched the second Guardians movie, and it was like, I didn't know guys could contour their faces that way. I was like, yeah, it's fantastic. It's like, why do you think George Lucas has that beard? Because if he didn't, his you'd have a bottom lip that just went to his neck. It's just, he's got a bottom lip and neck. Everything from there down is just neck. He's got the beard just to give you a delineation of what should be a chin.
Yep,
Beautiful.
that's what I got too. It helps.
All right, are we done talking about this movie?
I think we've been done with talking about that movie for
Yeah.
a while.
Right. Maybe get Reese to calculate the amount of time we spent talking about the movie versus other time. Get that in our stats.
Yeah. All right.
Bro.
Yeah. All right. Next week, Bahubali: The Beginning.
Nice. I'm in.
Bahubali.
Yeah, we might get a bunch of YouTube views again. When I was looking up the names of the movies, I'd looked for the first time in quite some time. We're over 10,000 views on the RRR video.
Mm-hmm.
That's almost 10,000 more views than we normally get.
It is almost exactly 10,000 more views than we normally get. And then just the likes and comments on it alone are just shocking to me. We're at 302 thumbs up, which I'm guessing they don't do they don't show you how many dislikes you have anymore. I think they just
Oh, good.
We can imagine.
I mean, it's either
The
that
rest-
or we have none. I'm just assuming we have none.
No, that's not.
That's probably not accurate. And 66 comments.
Wow.
Let me see if I can add it.
which is about 65 more views than we normally have on a regular episode.
Wow.
Is in the number of comments we have on this one.
Amazing.
Yeah, I really need to go through these and actually catalog all the different movies that we've been suggested to watch because of that. It's a sizable list at this point.
All right, I've added a dislike. Does it show up now?
Oh, let me see. Let me refresh my screen and see, and then stop the video. No, but it did go down by 1 like.
Okay.
So we have 300 now at 301 more likes than dislikes. I'll take it. That's a win.
Lovely.
I got my booster
Mm.
and my flu shot today, and I am quite sweaty.
Oh, can you do those both at the same time?
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently you can.
Yeah, I think we're going to be getting
I did mine.
booster, flu, and our second shingle shot.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah.
darn. So let me tell you about my luck. All right. So for whatever reason, the Target down the street from me has a CVS in it,
Mhm.
and then the Schnucks directly across the street also has a CVS in it. And I don't know, like, they're directly across the street from one another.
Yep.
Okay. So I make the appointment, and I accidentally make the appointment at the Schnucks. So of course I show up at the Target.
Mm.
And the guy's like, "Hey, you don't have an appointment here. You have an appointment at the Schnucks." And I was like, "Oh, God damn it." And he's like, "But the Schnucks is out of the vaccine. They would have just told you that you couldn't get it. We have it. So we'll just do it here." And I was like, "Perfect."
You live a charmed life.
I do. It's amazing.
You're holdening over there.
Well, thanks for letting me bop in on your podcast.
You
y'all.
are welcome anytime. Thanks for joining us.
Of course.
Thanks.
And we will see everybody next time for Balu Ba.
Bahubali.
Bahubali?
Say it all in one.
Is it Bahubali?
Bahubali?
Okay.
Bahubali? Yeah.
Bahubali, the
Bahubali.
beginning.
Bye.
Bye.